What's up, y'all? And we are back with another video. As you can see by the title today, we have another story time. Always another story time. I got so many to share. But by the title of this one, I didn't know my cat was pregnant. Yes, again, another story time about not knowing something was pregnant, but this time my cat. See, we had a lot of stuff in common. But before we get into the video, let's make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Oh, I also want to see, like, do y'all notice anything new or different about me? Let's see. You got it. Your girl is married. She's a missus now. Yes, I just got married in April 24th, so a little over a month now. So yeah, I'm a missus. The big missus is a wife. It's a wife. It's a wife. So maybe I should do a story on that, on how that came about. Yeah, just how that came about, why we decided to do courthouse marriage, because that is indeed what we did, was a courthouse marriage. So maybe I could do a story time and have the husband with me just to go more in depth on why we decided to do that, maybe. But yeah, let's get into the story time. So I feel like it's only right to start from the very, very beginning so that we're able to understand, like, you know, just the sequence of everything. So I and my husband, we moved into apartments where we currently are right now, and maybe I would say 3 months or like even 2 months into us moving into these apartments, we ended up seeing this cat always in front of our unit, of our building. So, you know, I would come home from work or say even go out, and I'll have Logan. And Logan is pretty familiar with cats because I grew up with cats. I grew up with a cat before I moved out of my mom's. So he's pretty familiar, and he will always say, "Oh, mommy, like, look at the cat, look." And he'll be very sweet, nice to him. And the cat, for the most part, was very, very friendly. Very friendly. If you are pretty familiar with cats, a lot of times if you come around them, they start to kind of act frantic, skittish, and, you know, scary. But it was something about my cat that was not like that. He was not he, but she was very, very friendly and not nervous at all. So one day, what was it? Probably like on a Tuesday, because me and my husband, we have around the same schedule for the most part. So I remember it was like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I took Logan off to school, and no, let me tell y'all. Okay, goes more deeper. Okay, let me tell y'all something. So we will always see, so I'm gonna call her Penelope because that was her name. That's her name, Penelope. So we would always see Penelope, and it had gotten to a point to where me and my husband were kind of just thinking like, hey, should we take her in? And we were kind of just hesitant simply because, like, we don't know if she had an owner prior, or if she's an outdoor cat, or if she had anything, you know. And also we wondered if she had an owner because she had a collar. Just keep that in mind too. So me and my husband, one night, we ended up watching this movie. What was it called? It's a movie with Tom Hanks. I'm gonna come back with it, and let's see, what was the name of the movie? Okay, A Man Named Otis is what the movie is called. So me and my husband, one night, we were watching A Man Named Otis, and Otto. We was watching a movie called A Man Named Otto. And in the movie, Otto, the guy, he was very, very mean, rugged, just mean-spirited. And then he ended up coming across this cat. It kind of made him a little bit more lighthearted. And he found them in the neighborhood as well. So something about that just moved me and my husband to where it's just like, maybe that's a sign. Maybe we need to take this cat in. So then the following day, we went out somewhere, and then we came back home. That same exact cat, Penelope, was laying on the steps. So as we were just moving and just going upstairs to our unit, she did not happen to move at all. Like, she just allowed us to just step over her. So that made us realize, like, she's not scared. She's very friendly. And she ended up actually following me to our unit. So I ended up telling my husband, like, I think that is the sign. Like, it's time. But I for sure was not about to bring her into my house without getting her checked. So what I ended up doing was going to my mom's house. Because again, you know, like I said, she has a cat. And she had a kennel for her cat. So I ended up asking my mom, like, hey, can I borrow the kennel so that I'm able to bring the cat to the vet to get her checked out before bringing her into my home. And my mom, she understood. She loves animals. So she was just like, yeah, go ahead, but make sure that you get her checked out before bringing her in the house. And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I end up going back home, well, getting the kennel, then bringing it back to my apartment. And I couldn't find her for a good minute, but I was just like, God willing, if she's meant for me, then I will go ahead and find her. So sure enough, I thought that she was gone, but she was at my car. So I ended up getting, I think I ended up bringing like cat food or something. It was something that I did to kind of just rub her in, but I ended up getting her in the kennel, and then I took her over to Petco, because they have a vet there called Vetco also. So I took her there. The whole ride, let me tell you, she was just crying and meowing. It was a lot. She was very, very loud to this day. Like, she's just very, very vocal. So I ended up getting her in there the whole ride. She was kind of just talking very vocal. So when I got her over to the vet, she was they ended up, you know, asking how did I find her. I ended up telling them the whole situation, how I found her in front of my apartment. I want to take her in, but I want to make sure she doesn't have fleas or rabies or any, you know, of these diseases before bringing her in. So they do like a little checkup for her. They said that it was very obvious that she didn't have rabies, because she would be very, very weak, lethargic, and foaming at the mouth and not taking in water, which I was just like, okay, great, awesome. And then they ended up giving her a rabies shot, and I think it was either like some fluids or something for fleas, but something to kind of just keep it from where she got fleas. And I ended up paying for that, and I was just like, okay, great, cool. So I ended up surprising Logan with her. He was very, very, very excited. He was very excited to have a new, you know, fur friend, because again, we had one at my mom's house, but that's her cat, so I didn't end up bringing him over to my apartment. So he was very, very happy that now he had his own. So now let's get into the nitty gritties of finding out how she was pregnant, now that we know the backstory on how I was able to get her, how I found her. So it had gotten around, well, if I'm doing the math too, I just want to say this because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would ask, well, did the vet not know that she was pregnant? So when I ended up doing the math of how I of when she ended up, you know, giving birth from like conception and everything. So when I read up, I think that cats are only pregnant for up to like 60 days or so. Yeah. So I ended up getting her in October, and she ended up giving birth in December. So when me and my husband were doing the math, we kind of figured that she probably had to have conceived within the week or so of us even getting her. So maybe it was too soon for even you know, the vets to be able to see or know. But yeah, so maybe I would say a month into having Penelope, I was like holding her, and I just noticed that she had like a belly. I didn't know if maybe it's because like she went from being outdoors to inside and I was just feeding her really good, but it was just like her belly was just hanging. So I remember I would ask my husband all the time, I'd be like, is Penelope pregnant? And then we was just like, he kind of was just like, I don't know, like she could be, I don't know, but I don't know. I was always used to boy cats too, let me just put that out there. So I didn't know, I wouldn't know how to be pretty, like how to kind of tell that she was pregnant. But he was just like, I don't know, it looks like it, like her stomach is literally hanging to the ground. And I was just like, let's hope not. I think that she just been eating good. I remember even asking my mom, like my mom came over and I was like, is it just me or is Penelope pregnant? Because her stomach is literally hanging to the ground. If I have any photos, I would enter it, but it was very, very obvious. I just thought that now that she was in a new environment, because I was feeding her, I just thought that she was eating good, heck. But when I think about it too, like she had like the nipples out and stuff like that, and the signs were there. I was just pretty oblivious, I guess, because no, I don't know. I thought that the vets would have been able to take care of that. But I ended up getting her October, so this is like again around November where I'm kind of just like, her belly is kind of out there, but I'm not gonna fat shame her. She's probably just eating good. Sorry about that, I had a phone call. But where did I leave off at? Oh yeah, it was something along the lines of, yes, so like her belly was out there. So I kind of just thought that she was just eating good. So it was December. Again, November is when I just noticed that her belly was out. So now it's December. Me and my mom, we go to Vegas for just a vacation. We go there basically annually and always try to catch a residency show. So this time we went out there, we enjoyed ourselves for the Christmas holiday, and then we ended up going to see Bruno Mars. So I remember that I was just out there with my mom and we was going to get something to eat, just, you know, prepping, getting hyped up for the Bruno Mars residency. And I get a call from my husband and he's like, bro. And I'm like, what? He's like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm freaking out because I don't know what's going on. My first instinct is like, he just came home from class and then someone broke in. I'm just like, talk to me, like, what's going on? And he's like, Penelope just gave birth to kittens up under the bed. And I was like, you're lying, you're joking. Like, say April Fool's, like, I don't know, like, prank. And and he's like, no. And then he goes into telling me what happens, which his story is that whole day she was just being very, very clingy, where like following him around the house and just meowing, being very vocal. But again, we're used to her being very vocal. Oh, my husband here. So he eventually gets really, really fed up with the fact that she is so loud that he just locks himself in the room. But I mean, he says that the crying doesn't stop. Like, she just continues to just scratch at the door and cry, to where he just let her in and she ran up under the bed immediately. And then he said maybe like 10 or 15 minutes later, he just started hearing the eep, eep, eep. And then he said at first he kind of just didn't mind it, but then it just continued to happen to where he looked up under the bed and he said that he saw kittens. And then on top of that, he says that he ended up seeing, like, with the one that I have now, Grayson, just crawling on my carpet. I'm gonna insert a video so that y'all can see what I saw. So as he's telling me this, I'm just like, no way. And then he sends me the video and I'm just mind blown, like, oh my gosh. And then a part of me too felt heartbroken because I'm just like, I did not know this, that she went through her pregnancy alone. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's just like me. I didn't know she was pregnant. I'm just like freaking out. Mind you, this is all within an hour before the Bruno Mars concert starts. And let me tell you this, at his shows, he does not allow people to record. So I'm just like freaking out, and it's time span of an hour before you know, an hour before the show starts, and then having to really think about that during the Bruno Mars show was crazy, because I'm not able to text my man during the thing asking like, hey, is Penelope okay? At that point, I'm kind of just left, you know, just, you know, thinking about my baby during the whole thing. So that happens, child. That happens, and I'm really feeling bad about the whole thing. So, what else after that? Yeah, after that, I was low-key like blown and ready to come home after that. And I do think that I had like another day in Vegas left too. So I was just stressed, just wondering like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that Penelope was pregnant. Like I was just still just mind blown by the whole thing. So I enjoyed the rest of my trip. I came home, and still part of me is trying not to even think that that was real. So when I got home, I don't know why in my mind I just thought that when I came home, like she would just be meeting me at the door, and then like there'll be like a trail of like kittens just following me to the door. So when I got home, I only saw her, and I was just like, she didn't have kittens because I don't see them. But it, sure enough, when I got home, I looked up under the bed, because she kept them things up under the bed like the whole time that they was like newborns or whatever. So I ended up going in there, and I just saw them, and I was just like, this is real. This is real. And I was stuck with them. I was stuck with them. I honestly just got rid of like the last bit of them a week ago. And sadly, I ended up getting rid of Penelope too, but that's a story for another day. But that's the end of this story on me not knowing that my cat was pregnant. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, tell me if you had similar situations and how you handled it, and make sure to also subscribe. And we'll talk next time. Bye. Say hi, Grayson.